guys, what's happening? Welcome to the first ever TEAMride podcast. Yeah, no, you heard that right. We have a podcast now. Really, the reason we're doing this podcast is to bring you your favorite content, my favorite content, the TEAMride instructoring family.
Love that. And today we have instructor Jamie and Teresa with us.
Yay.
Welcome,
Hi.
girls.
Hello.
So just to kind of kick off this first podcast, we're going to start off with an icebreaker. Just kind of asking you girls, when you're not here at TEAMride, what are you doing?
Well, I have 3 boys, Andrew, John, and Luke. And so I currently am actually homeschooling them this year. So after I teach my early morning classes here, I go home, we make big breakfasts, and then we get to our assignments for the day. Wednesdays happen to be field trip days. So today, after this, we're going up to Apple Hill.
And I don't know if all of you guys know, but in her previous life, Teresa was a high school Spanish teacher. So she's more than qualified to teach her 3 little sons.
Thank you, Elena.
You're welcome.
Well, I have 2 kids, Benjamin and Claire, and another one on the way. So I'll be kind of on that same boat soon. But after I teach my early morning classes or my midday classes, it's just hopefully a nap, a lot of eating and cleaning, listening to music loud, and then just getting around town and doing stuff to keep us busy. And we really love the co-ops. We find ourselves there every day. It's probably the first question I get from Benjamin is, Mom, do we have to go to co-op today? What do we need? And he's like, I think we might be out of popcorn. We'll just go in for a minute. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, and then that turns into like an all day and how much money gets spent.
$100.
Yeah,
One bag.
casual.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. One question for you, Jamie.
Yeah.
Do you think that if you lived in Los Angeles, your kids would already have headshots?
Oh, I don't know. That's a good question.
If you guys don't know or you don't follow Jamie on social media, she has model babies.
Oh,
So cute.
Huge blue eyes, huge personalities. They're just the
they're
cutest.
pretty cute.
They're kind, too.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
very sweet.
They are
The
sweet.
most of the time. Yeah.
They're on their best behavior around us.
yeah. They've been, Benjamin's been really taking advantage of like learning chores. Today he was doing dishes and putting them in the dishwasher and started the dishwasher. And we're, making aware that he cannot give his sister the Tide Pods to put in the dishwasher. He has to keep those out of his mouth or whatever they are. And then he just loves taking care of his sister. So he is really sweet and she just loves him. So it's nice.
That's cute.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool. So, as moms, really, because first and foremost, you are moms, how has TEAMride kind of helped you balance an already crazy life? Because there are stay-at-home moms listening out there and working moms listening out there. How does your life work when you're so busy at home, but then also you have to show up big for TEAMride as well?
For me, it's about connection. I mean, when I show up to TEAMride, I am bound to get smiles and hugs and high fives and, hoorahs on the bike. And that just fills my spirit in such a huge way. It is a gift. I honestly feel like I can go home and be a better mom because my endorphins are flowing.
Yeah.
Any stress I may have built up is gone. And showing up for my riders is equally a gift for me. So I'm grateful. I'm so grateful for what I get to do, to show up for every day.
Totally. I think a lot of women really struggle with finding balance in their lives. And for me, and I'm sure you feel this way, my kids are first, my husband's first, and then me. And I'm really lucky that my job is something that makes me feel really good. And, I get to come here and, like you said, if I'm having a bad day or I'm feeling really empty, that's something that I have been struggling with sometimes, is that you don't really get a choice. You have to fill other people up. But by the time you leave as an instructor, you're so filled up too, and it feels really good to go back home, back into your environment, and whatever stresses or kind of worries you had just feel a little bit more distant. And I feel like this is the best of all worlds, getting something that's so healthy for you physically and then so rewarding with the community that we have, and then also having that balance of good time with our kids too. It's nice.
And the music. I mean,
yeah.
cannot
That's really
forget
fun.
about the music. No matter how you feel, once you press play on that playlist, it's like everything just melts
Yeah,
away.
totally.
And it's you in the dark room with the dim lights, with
Yeah.
the beat and the people. And you just get lost in that. And for me, sometimes, like, I really do want to step away from that mom role.
Yeah.
And I want to be young and hip and fun and cool. And I find that I've actually chosen my music to be cooler and hipper more recently because my sisters have demanded that of me, but also because I've found like a new place within myself.
Yeah.
That it's like, yeah, just tap into it. Don't be afraid. Be courageous.
Yeah.
And we tell our riders that every day, like, be courageous, dig deeper. And there really is something to that.
Yeah.
Just something I was just going to kind of touch on is, unlike a traditional job where there is a lot of separation between what you do outside of the home and your home life, it's fun for us to actually get to know your kids, see your kids around the studios. How do you think that just kind of that interaction, them getting to see you at work in this sort of environment, this sort of industry, how do you think that impacts your kids' lives
Yeah.
as mothers?
Well, we had a family incident. My mother-in-law fell. She's fine, but she bruised her face and her eyes, and so she canceled on her babysitting duties this week, which is fine. She needs a lot of rest.
So sad.
But I had to bring them on Monday with me while I taught my noon class, and Caitlin came and met and, monitored them for me. And when I have to do that, which is rare, but it happens sometimes, like I get really stressed, like how am I going to juggle and jump back into it? But like you said, like the second that the door closes and you turn on your music, you're able to really just like refocus
Totally.
on what you're doing. But I was thinking during class, like first I hope they can't hear all my swearing. I think it's muted enough. But then I do think, I think Benjamin, he loves this environment. Like every time they drop me off to work, he always just wants to come in. He wants to say hi to people. And I think that's really cool. And I hope, as now being a mom to a daughter, I hope that she's raised to realize that like, beauty and fitness, and not even beauty, because that makes it sound like it's this superficial thing. But I hope that she's raised with this idea that like, I watched my mom go through pregnancies and, show up to work in this super demanding physical job, and she's strong, and I want to be strong too, and I can hold that, without it being about, I guess just outer beauty, but really about inner beauty. So
Yeah.
I hope that that's something that she gets. And, I hope, of course, Benjamin gets it as well and feels empowered in that way too.
Well, and my children are a little bit older than Jamie's, and my 11-year-old son and my 9-year-old son have actually both taken one of my
love
TEAMride
that.
classes. Andrew's taken a handful, actually, and he did the New Rider intro series with my sisters. And I'm just so proud to bring them here. I know they love that this is a family-run business and their aunts are a part of it. And I know that when they're here, they understand what entrepreneurship is. And I think that's really cool to teach them at such a young age.
And
like,
entrepreneurship
we have built this
for you
from
women
nothing.
too. Like,
Yes.
this is incredible what you guys have built.
And my kids have said that to me. They're like, Mom, we're so proud of you. And wow, look, your picture's up in Lululemon. And wow, there's my mom's studio. And it's just so cool that they do see that we have started this from nothing and it's turned into something so much bigger than we ever could have imagined. And I think that that's filling them with ideas that they can do anything as well.
Yeah, totally.
So I'm proud of that.
Cool. Well, that's awesome. Final question on this TEAMride first podcast is we tell our riders all the time, start where you are. So whether that means your current fitness level, your current financial standing, whatever it might be for you, start where you are. Do you ever find it difficult, like say you're having a tough day at home, for example, and for you, it's not an option. You have to show up because you're instructing to so many. Do you ever find it difficult to take your own advice on starting where you are when sometimes where you are is a tough day at home,
Messy,
where
yeah.
everything's going badly?
Yeah. Yeah, I will definitely say I've had just the last few weeks even, I'm in my second trimester of my pregnancy, and Benjamin's pregnancy was a breeze, but Claire and this baby are giving me a run for my money. You've experienced the loss of a parent, so it was recently my dad's anniversary of his passing, and a lot of family stuff has just come up. So it's been a heavy time for me these last few weeks. And I noticed in class the other day, I tend to start speaking, like I start saying things that I need to hear. And that's kind of when I'm feeling really empty, and it's hard for me to give, to our riders in the way that I want to. I start thinking, okay, what do I need to hear? Because I'm sure I'm not the only one going through this,
100.
Maybe exactly what I'm going through, it would be hard. But, the things that we teach through, through good and bad and beautiful and hard, our riders are going through those things too. So I try to think, okay, like take a second and breathe, and what would I tell my best friend if they were telling me that they were struggling with things, and what could I tell our riders? Because I feel like our riders are like, they're a community, and they would listen, and they're so supportive. So, getting a little personal sometimes tends to happen, and it's nice to like feel love back on as an instructor. But yeah, sometimes, when you feel empty and you're still having to fill other people's cups up, you've got to find where you need it yourself too. And honestly, sometimes it's just being honest and like taking a breath in there, and it feels good.
I think that's really honest advice.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah, and it's good for even our riders to hear, like, tell yourself what you need to hear.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
You can be your greatest asset.
Yeah.
If you're having a tough moment, a tough day, or you're having a tough ride, like, start talking to yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really good advice.
I tell riders, like, what you need to hear exactly. Like, I'm really loud because I'm on the mic, but tune me out and listen to yourself, because you know what you need to push through this hill or these holdups or whatever it is. Like, pay attention to your inner voice too. It's important.
And I do think that is something we do really well here at TEAMride, is creating that space that is safe, and to show up exactly as you are, and to be honest about that. And it is a challenge as an instructor to show that vulnerability at times. And that is where the greatest connection happens.
Yeah, for sure.
And that is, I think, the secret sauce of TEAMride, that we do create the space to allow people to come as they are, and we love them and accept them exactly for who they are in that moment.
Yeah, well, Chris said it really well in his class today. It was his 4-year anniversary ride.
Oh.
Yes.
And I had the pleasure of being in there, and he said, you'll never regret walking through these 2 doors. And I think that's just so true.
Yeah.
This is a safe space, and like Jamie said, we're all going through something, and we can be in it together.
Totally.
Amen.
Love that.
Yeah.
And then I think we're going to end it with just one final question,
Yeah.
which is,
Why do you ride? Why do you team ride? Why do you ride? What's your why?
I TEAMride for connection.
My answer feels a lot longer than that. I TEAMride for my balance, like for my mental sanity. I love, like we talked about earlier, just that I can walk out of these doors and be a mom and a wife and myself and who I want to be. But in this room, I get to do something that's solely for me. Kind of, right? It's still for our riders, but it feels like it's for me. It's so fulfilling, and this is my space and my time.
Well, I love that. So naturally, TEAMride's first podcast got a little heavy and deep there.
Always.
That's what happens when there's a bunch of women around a table. I'm sure most of you can relate.
Yeah.
thank you so much for listening to today's podcast.
Make sure to follow these awesome instructors on Instagram. And of course, if you vibed with them, sign up for their class.
Until next time.
Bye.
Bye.